Hello, everybody. Welcome to the PWO WrestleCast. Unfortunately, we're not live today from the studio, but we are here to give you our pay-per-view reviews of the weekend. We had Impact's Under Siege, and unfortunately, we also had WWE's Wrestlemania, which is going to be the last time I refer to it as that. You're only going to hear me say Backlash from here on out. There's your one. As always, I'm your host, Matt. With me tonight, we have the hype man himself, D. White.
That's right. So I don't know if we want to talk about it tonight, whether WrestleMania Backlash, was it better than Shaun of the Dead, or was it not quite as good as Zombieland, or maybe, I don't know. God, zombies.
What was the worst zombie movie you can think of? And we'll come back to that later.
Ooh, gosh, because
keep it in your head.
I like zombie movies, so
I
hard.
do too. And of course, you know him, you love him. It's Kyle Sinclair, baby.
I speak for the dead.
I'm also a little sad no one went with I See Dead People.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But let's start with Impact's Under Siege.
Okay, let's do that.
Because I gotta tell you, I was more hyped for this show between all of them. This was the one for me. And I mean, it was good. It was what it was, but it was not the same level of hype I feel Rebellion was. I feel like Impact goes between really good show, show, really good show, show. They kind of teeter-totter, I think, with pay-per-views. Show opened up with Brian Myers defeating Black Taurus in about 9 minutes. Yeah, I really think that's all there to say there. I mean, he cheated and then caught him with the clothesline.
Right.
The roster cut, which fantastic name for a finisher.
Yeah,
That's right. It is.
Taylor Wilde and Tennille Dashwood defeated Kimberly and I don't have my microphone with me, so Susan.
Next.
Yeah. Next.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
I mean, I hate to say it. It was really, yeah. Then we had the four-way tag match to determine the number one contenders. This was won by Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. They defeated Petey Williams and TJP with some kind of weird, I don't know, broom for their entrance. Triple XL and Rohit Raju and the last heavyweight champion of Rinka King, Mahabalashir.
Yeah. This is not confirmed, but TJP is definitely a Hufflepuff.
What?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Do you want to tell them what that actually means, or
No. Let the people guess.
Yeah, look it up. I will say that the on the Impact going in, the with my man Johnny Swinger in the back, running the gambling hall thing.
Can you be your own man?
Yeah, I guess. But it should just set that whole thing up, the tag match
and stuff.
It was hilarious. It was so funny, and TJP actually started the whole thing off by coming in there and I was one of those that was very WWE backstage segment, but I think when Impact does it, or at least especially when Johnny Swinger is part of it, it's a joke. Where I think sometimes they do it in WWE and it's a joke, like we consider it a joke, but they don't think it's a joke.
Well, it's a joke because it's bad.
Right. So
they think it's serious.
Anyway, that was it. So anyway, I'll just throw that out there. I like the setup, but you knew who was going to win. I don't think anybody had any doubt who was going to win that.
There were some questions on just because we didn't know if they were actually going to put Ace Austin in the tag title match, but they'll get their shot this week. Right. Next matchup, W. Morrissey defeated Willie Mack. And what was a good showing? But God, this match probably could have been about 2-3 minutes shorter. And then a random Rich Swann sighting. He's out there to defend Willie Mack. God, I know he had a chair and all, but I need Morrissey to look a little bit stronger here.
Yeah, and that was my problem, was that, even a guy like W. Morrissey towering over the large Willie Mack, and then Rich Swann comes in, and I understand he's your last Impact World Champion. He's been, fighting against the odds, managing to retain his title for the last handful of months. But this is the surefire way to kill a character upon immediate rise to the upper mid card. It is to have a 180-pound Rich Swann defeat a 7-foot tall, 300+ pound giant. And it looked really silly.
Well, and I got it. I actually when because he gave him the beatdown on Thursday night, and that's kind of where that came from and all that. And I was looking for Rich Swann to come out then, because they were kind of buddies before this. Willie Mack and Rich Swann were actually when he won the title and all that. So when he first came, I kind of looked for it, but then again, yeah, you're right. W. Morrissey, I think he needs to be the unbeatable monster, unless they're planning on hooking him up with with Eric Young and his group, but
VBD.
I don't know, man. Violent by Design. So yeah, I don't know. It was almost like it was. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I like seeing him out there. And I'm going to tell you, he looks good. W. Morrissey, he looks good. He's definitely stepped his game up. That's for sure. And then but you're right. Rich Swann is Rich Swann. He's like the John Cena of Impact.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you said Giant B, because if you think about the guys that we have on the Impact roster that are larger guys, just in both width and height, you're maybe talking you're probably talking about Madman Fulton and now W. Morrissey, and that's it. So I think this is a really big opportunity to kind of make W. Morrissey the Giant that WCW made him in the late 90s. I mean, this is a great opportunity for them to book him very, very similarly. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, that's probably a good call there. You've been watching a lot of old wrestling.
Let's get to this next part here so we can be upset and sad. Up next, we have the women's tag team title match, and it is Jordynne Grace and Rachel Ellering against Fire and Flava. Fire and Flava regain their titles. I think we're going the route of Jordynne Grace can't defend her title. She can't be a tag team, which can work if we're going to bring her back to singles, but also, who are we going to put her against in singles competition right now?
Yeah, I didn't really agree with this decision.
I
unless
second
it's
that.
leading to maybe a Jordynne Grace turn, and we get Jordynne Grace, Rachel Ellering. But to your point, Matt, we've already run the gambit as far as opponents for Deonna Purrazzo to now we're to the point where it's heel versus heel, and the build to the match is just lacking. Everybody knows my stance on women's tag team titles and women's tag team in general. So I'll leave it at that. I hope the titles don't ping pong around. If we're leaving them on Fire and Flava, leave them on them for at least a couple more months. Don't immediately take them off of them for their next opponent, because now they're just props. If we're going to ping pong the title like that, if we're talking about it as if it were a play, it's the glass of water on the table, not the gun that kills the villain.
Right. I will throw this in here, because I was checking on this today, and getting ready for the show after having watched it, because I was irritated, because you guys know how I feel. But somebody did point out on Twitter, and man, I wish I could give them credit, whoever said it, but they were saying, I wonder if they filmed this before Jordynne Grace re-signed. And I went, then it makes sense.
I have another theory out here.
Is it an Austin theory?
No, it's an iconic signing. Because here's my thing: you can't have the Iconic show up as the heels and win it. That's not going to happen. They show up in Impact, they are going to be cheered like anything. People are going to be happy to see it. It's going to be the thing. It's not like John Perazzo who can turn it on and be like mega heel. Iconics, they're like that great, like annoying heel, or like grating on your ears. Yeah. Whereas people are more so going to just enjoy their shtick now, especially considering they're probably going to have a little bit more creative freedom with it.
My problem now is we have to leave these god awful titles on just a tag team that I don't care about and a division that is lacking. Because to your point, Matt, it's the fact that we're not investing in the division. To now, more than likely, the next opponents are going to be Taylor Wilde and Tennille Dashwood.
I think Taylor Wilde's getting the singles title shot. She was really pushing that when she did her backstage segment with Tennille.
I know, but
so and like she emphasized it, like, I am going for singles gold. I am not your tag team partner.
Who else is there now?
Well, I think we're going to have the rematch at the next pay-per-view, and then we're going to have Slammiversary. It lines up perfectly with what's going to happen.
It's just so bad. Like, this is literally, and as much as I take a dump on all of women's tag team wrestling, like, this is the worst part about it, is that there's no depth and there's no booking to invest in.
Well, okay? I'll say
Take
this.
A look at, for example, because I'll give credit where credit's due, they've been building on NXT for the way to finally go over Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. They've been building to that. The story's there, okay? The final match was good. I was minorly invested in it. The tag team title rematch. Okay, I was at least intrigued, but now you're going to tell me that they're going to get yet another rematch and another match. And all we're going to get out of it is, okay, the Iconics are going to come be the new challengers. Okay, so now we have Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering and no other tag teams.
Well, this is where Impact needs more of the roster in terms of they need to have women who can tag team but also run singles matches. So, like, do what you're doing with Deonna, Kimberly, and Susan, where, hey, I'm the singles person, but if we're going to team up, it's you and me, and you're going to be in my corner, I'll be in your corner. You just need to do the same thing. And I think that's what we're going towards, but we didn't build the tag teams along the way. I really like how Impact has a focus on their tag teams. I like the fact that they have a set spot on the card, like they are a part of the show. They're heavily involved. We don't forget that they exist. We talk about it in every show. I really like that. We just need more tag teams to work with. That's ultimately what it is.
Yeah.
That's true. The only knockaway. I may be the only one. I like Fire and Flava. Yeah. Because I think they're once again that annoying heel that just kind of grate on your nerves.
Well, I think
they're decent enough in ring.
They work well as a team. They do. They definitely work well as a team. I'll give them that credit. I don't like their shtick because whatever. I just don't. It's just not my cup of tea. I get it. They do work well in the ring. It's the whole 5 foot, 104 pounds thing that I can't get over.
And that's where they've been kind of booked into a position where they've only had larger challengers. And like, I hate being this guy, but like, we had the Sea Stars in the tournament to crown the champions. They are a perfect foil for Fire and Flava just because they're similar size. Work up to the point. Maybe we even turn Fire and Flava face against Havoc and Nevaeh prior to them having the segment. Obviously, this is all fantasy booking at this point, but we went straight away to heels getting over on the big people instead of working over the legitimacy. I mean, honestly, they're probably your longest tag team in the Knockouts division. I mean, they've been working together well before I think most of them. I mean, Nevaeh and Havoc maybe, but that's over.
Right.
So at this point, I mean, no one else has the chemistry in ring that they do. So we got
Yeah.
build tag teams. We got to set this up more.
Yeah, just throw. I like to saw Sea Stars. They were on Limitless Wrestling last week in my incessant indie wrestling consumption. Got to see them again.
Up next, we have the X Division title. Josh Alexander successfully retained over El Phantasmo. This was honestly a really enjoyable match. But I think the longer it went on, the longer most of us kind of went like, oh, Alexander's got to retain, huh?
Yeah, this match went a couple minutes too long. And exactly to your point, the longer it went, you knew El Phantasmo wasn't going over. This is still my match of the night. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. If it were about 12 to 13 minutes instead of almost 17, I would have been fine with it. El Phantasmo is a star, obviously. Hopefully we see more of him, and this is not just a one and done. Maybe it's more of like a Finn Juice where we don't see him for a little bit. He comes back. Maybe he gets his rematch at the next show.
Well, this kind of goes to what we were saying on the prediction show of your tag champions are in a different company, your world champion is signed to a different company. You need to have at least one male wrestler signed to your company as champion. Somewhere on your card, it needs to be there. And that was kind of, I think, this decision.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be the first one to kind of come out and say it. I think Ace Austin and Madman Fulton are going over on Thursday. I think they need to. I think to your
flip-flopping on this.
I think to your point, that if we're gonna build Impact up as a credible brand, having the world title, out of grasp of a non-contracted wrestler is one thing, because he has 3 to 4 titles.
Well, and it's Kenny Omega. I mean, just the name value elevates the belt at this point.
Yeah,
for Impact.
Yeah. I think it's time to legitimize Impact a little bit. Also, Ace Austin's a star. Can we please quit dicking him around? I know he's in high, I know he's high up on the card. I know he's in high profile matches. But it seems like he won the X Division title and then immediately took it away. Like, you blink and he doesn't have a title anymore. I think he's one of the best in-ring performers that Impact has. And if this is how you want to capitalize on it, then fine. Because Madman Fulton's a good big guy also.
I wonder if he's hurt.
If he's hurt, then they're not going to win.
I could see them still winning and just Fulton does the bulk of the work. If I remember, the fact that he won with just a splash off of Fulton's back has really kind of stuck out with me. I'm wondering if he's not at 100% and he's trying to still go without taking time off, which would explain the move to the tag division.
It could. But he's got enough charisma and to just be a backstage guy that's talking through it, like Eric Young's doing now, because we know he's injured, but he's still on TV because he can talk. But yeah, Ace Austin can talk, but he's more he's a star because of what he does in the ring. And so I'm with you. That might be what's going on, especially in that situation where you wouldn't expect Madman Fulton to carry the bulk of the work like he did. So that's probably a good indication that he may not be 100%, but I don't think that bodes ill for him, because I know they've put him front and center. And I think they would. Can you imagine Ace Austin and Kenny Omega? Can you imagine that match?
Yeah, dog. We've been talking about it. That's the one we've been saying. I just something about how that finish happened in this match. So literally, for those of you who did see it, he jumped off of Madman Fulton's back while Fulton was down at almost fetal positioning. He was on all fours and he just jumped off and splashed. And if you're looking at Ace Austin, I mean, Ace Austin's doing a 450 splash there. He'd be doing something more ridiculous, just because he could, you know. Um, it just seemed very almost out of character to me. Like at first, I thought maybe he just kind of second guessed the spot, like maybe he didn't take off the right way, or maybe he didn't fully extend the way he needed to. But just the more I'm thinking about it, it makes sense with how much more work Fulton's been doing. Ace Austin's had what, like the one match with Cardona, where it was what, maybe 2 minutes longer than Fulton interfered. He had the X Division number one contender ship match.
Right. Well, I mean, he had that whole program with Trey Miguel, back last year.
Yeah,
elevated
I'm
both of those
thinking.
guys.
I'm thinking of since he won the belt. I wonder if he got injured in the match against TJP a couple months ago, and instead of taking time off, I think he's worried about maybe losing his spot on the show. He's just kind of worked through it, Maybe it's something that doesn't require surgery or time off, but there's got to be something, because there's no reason this dude shouldn't be. I don't want to say more involved. More involved. I think that's the best way to put it.
Right. Makes sense.
Up next, to no one's surprise, Deonna Purrazzo defends the Knockout Women's title against Havoc, successfully retains via submission. I think all of us. The predictable answer isn't always the wrong answer. So This was very much so the right choice. I think we're still moving towards Purrazzo, Taylor Wilde.
Yeah, that's where we're going.
6-man tag match, Eddie Edwards and Finjuice versus the Elite of Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. Eddie Edwards and Finjuice go over. We get a Boston knee party to Kenny Omega, right? I'm not misremembering this.
No, remember it right.
I was about to say, I think Kenny ate the pin here for Eddie Edwards. Look, if you're a longtime listener, you know my thoughts on this. Until Eddie Edwards is the Wolves, Eddie Edwards, I can't. I'm sorry. Till then, he's still just some homeless guy from Boston to me.
Yeah. To redirect, how long do we keep Gallows and Anderson with Kenny Omega? Because if you paid attention to the video package before and the body language after the match, it seems like both Don Callis and Kenny Omega are fed up with it. So I'm just wondering how long we're going to keep carrying these guys in the main event, because I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I was on board with this when everything first started rolling, and now it's every time they're in a match, it's with Kenny Omega. And then I know leading up to this, they each had their individual one-on-one matches with Finjuice, but it wasn't good. And I'm honestly tired of them being on TV. I really am, because they don't bring anything. And I'm okay with if this is just one of my things that I'm just not invested in. But it's the fact I have to see them twice a week, and they still don't do anything. They don't bring anything to the Elite. They're just there, and they continue to eat losses. And if that's the gimmick, and I'm just blind, and that's what it is, then it is what it is, I guess. But
I'm gonna throw this out for you, Ryan, because I get what you're saying, and do you think maybe, and I've thought about this from watching, because I really honestly I agree with you. I'm kind of tired of their shtick, and I'm going, wait a second, it's like they're bringing the comedy stuff, from
Talking Shop,
from Talking Shop into and that's not Bullet Club, that's not heels. And you saw the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks turn was really based on that. It was like, we're not doing that anymore. We're here to win, and that doesn't work, and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's what the Good Brothers are still doing. I mean, if you see them, I mean, it's masturbation jokes nonstop on being the.
I keep joking about the dangly. I'm. It's got a serious up here. We gotta get serious. I don't know what.
Yeah,
I'm hoping this is all storyline. I'm hoping this is all storyline to lead to the whole like come to Jesus, get it together, or we're not going to have you guys challenge for the belts here or anywhere.
Right, or you know, or you would, or as we lead to some kind of something with the elite, you know, where we have a sort of a realignment or the reemergence of the Bullet Club or whatever, but and those guys get left out because they need to get left out at this point. So it was weird because I was after watching Impact and then I was watching I watched Undersea, I didn't watch it live. I went back and did highlights later. And watched whole matches when I could of the ones I want to see. But anyway, this one is the one I kind of knew how it was going to end. Like I knew, I was like, this is we're putting Eddie Edwards over Kenny Omega because that's where we're going next. That's the whole point of this match, and that's what happened. And I'm not. I mean, I'm not. We know Eddie Edwards is not going to beat Kenny Omega for the belt. I mean, we know that.
If he does, I'm going to be upset.
Well, it'll be the end of the AEW working relationship with Impact. It'll have to be because that's absurd.
Yeah. I almost wish this were any other tag team except for them. Like, they are clearly the weak links. And okay, Doc Gallows reminds me a lot of Kevin Nash in like 2000s WCW, where he has his script of moves to go in, get out. I'm tired of seeing the same bit where he's running blind and aimless towards somebody like leaning against the ropes, and then they just pull the ropes down when he's in the middle of the ring, and he continues to run like an idiot. It makes you look bad. Okay, that's not on anybody else. That's him. Okay.
Well, I will say if the guy pulls the ropes down too early, it's on the guy who pulls the rope down.
Audible, give him a big boot.
You can't always do that. That's a design spot.
Okay, but
that's kind of my
thing. But
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah,
is that it's very monotonous in what they do in the ring, and something's got to give. It really does. And we already know Eddie Edwards is not going to be the next opponent.
I mean, he could be.
He's not, because the winner of the 6-man is getting their title shot against all odds.
Oh.
That's already been announced.
I missed that. That changes some things.
Yeah.
Huh.
So then you're looking at against all odds and then Slammiversary.
So well, I guess this leads into our main event here. We had the 6-man, or the 6-way match for the number 1 contender here, where Moose defeated Chris Bay, Chris Sabin, Matt Cardona, Sami Callihan. Callihan dragged out by the Good Brothers to cause some distraction, and Trey Miguel. Moose winning here, I was thinking, okay, Moose will get his shot at Slammiversary.
Yes. So just to put it into chronological order, June 12th is Against All Odds, where Moose will challenge Kenny Omega. And then July 17th is Slammiversary. That is going to be the Saturday after the 90-day no-compete clauses run up.
Oh, man. Well, we'll have to get we'll have to discuss that later for another show, but I don't think that bodes well for Moose here. Maybe he's actually gone
then. Ooh.
I think the only logical spot for him to go at this point, I think, is WWE.
Unfortunately, I agree.
Yeah, I think that, and we kind of talked about this as we were watching this show, is that AEW right now is just loaded.
Yeah.
At the top of the card, middle of the card, Dark and Elevation are doing great. Okay, right now, all they need to do is worry about building stars and just continuing to build and grow talent. They don't need, a Moose right now. Heck, when we did the prediction show as to where everybody was going to go as far as the WWE releases, I think all I had was Tucker. going to AEW, which I still think would be a good spot for him now that Chris Jericho is kind of trying to get him there. I think that might happen, but anybody higher tier than that, and what are you going to do with them? I mean, we already have Christian Cage, who we just signed.
I think I had Chelsea Green and potentially the Iconics if they could go challenge in Impact as well, but
that makes sense.
Well,
sorry, male competitors.
Okay,
women,
fair.
The women's division is going to get a hard reset here in a couple weeks as soon as the Doctor defeats Sheeta.
Well, as pandemic ends, as it is slowly around us, they'll slowly get back some of the talent who've been lost to the world.
Yeah, if Sheeta goes over, that's for another video. But holy smokes!
All right. So overall, let me ask you guys, what did you think of the show overall?
I thought it was solid, honestly. Other than the women's matches, and that's really difficult for me to say because I've gone on record saying that over the past year, since the pandemic started, even Deonna Purrazzo has been the best women's competitor on planet Earth, and that's just how often she competes, the level of competition, the number of big spots that she's in, the consistency and the overall excellence of her in-ring work.
How she's been booked.
And her match against Havoc was not good. And that's because Havoc is not good. Now, she's better than another larger woman who breaks people over in WWE and injures people and puts them on the shelf and retires them. So Havoc has that going for her. But both the tag matches weren't great. But I thought overall, other than those matches, it was a really solid show.
Yeah, it was I wouldn't say it was, like a pay-per-view level thing, but certainly like a, what it was, sort of a special card that sort of culminates. It's really worked as a good first setup as we're getting ready to the drive towards Slammiversary, that we're ending some things and we're marching towards others. As far as, did I catch it right that you guys were hinting that you thought Moose was going to WWE?
Yeah.
Is that what you thought? Okay, well then he needs to get a phone call from Keith Lee, who apparently they have nothing for right now. So
well, apparently that's a medical issue. That's not necessarily a booking issue right now.
No, actually there was let me pull up my source here. It says that would be on PW Insider Mike Johnson, who's saying that he's been led to believe that it's not an injury thing, that it is we don't know what to do with you thing.
He's one of the top talents you have. You don't have anything for him, but yet we have, God bless Akira Tozawa winning the 24/7 title. And please stick around for our review of WrestleMania Backlash.
Well, I'm gonna.
Let's see. Andrade, Aleister Black.
Aleister Black is getting something. He's getting some vignettes on SmackDown.
God, I hope.
So I don't know. The way Keith Lee is talking on social media, to me, it reads as something medical. So I'm gonna kind of leave it there on that one. I know we're getting close to the end of our review on this show. What's up?
I'll leave it for the WrestleMania Backlash portion of it.
Oh dear God.
Let's get into that fiasco.
Here we go. WrestleMania Backlash. Now look, I'm not gonna sit here and act like this show didn't have at least some decent spots. It had some things that had a lot of cheers from several people across social media. Primarily the last two matches I know got a lot of love. I'm seeing a lot of people happy with the women's triple threat match. But I guess if we're gonna start this thing, we gotta start at the bottom, which is the pre-show, which saw Sheamus have an open challenge, not for his title, but just against him. I kind of like it. It was a good chance to get Ricochet seen, even though it was on the pre-show. God, him and Ali are crushing it down in main event, but people don't want to even look at that because
We don't.
I think it's only on Hulu and Peacock.
Yeah, I feel like this was an audible. I feel like this was supposed to be maybe
Humberto, who got injured.
Yeah, and then he got injured in the match on Monday. So the fact that this was their audible, I'm glad to see Ricochet. Sad we won't see any more of him. Hopefully his contract runs.
Not until his future's endeavored.
Well,
that's true.
Let's hope it's soon so he can be back in time for All Out.
Wow.
Yep, that would be a great debut, wouldn't it?
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Yeah, okay.
After the match, though, Ricochet did attack Sheamus and steal his hat and jacket,
and then left it like so silly.
All right, then we. Yeah,
I caught the very end of this. And I was like, I'm gonna go make some food. I was like, oh, wait a second. Oh, that's right. Oh, never mind.
Okay. Up next, Rhea Ripley defended the Raw Women's Championship against Asuka and Charlotte. And who could have predicted this better than us? Rhea Ripley retains by pinning Asuka.
Yeah. And obviously we know that the whole point of this is to set up that Charlotte Rhea match. And although I don't know, I was just the Asuka and the sort of voodoo things that she does, where like Shayna Baszler's knee collapsed, a little voodoo knee collapse thing. I don't know. I hate what they're doing with Asuka, but I mean, I like Asuka. I hate what they're doing with Asuka, but this was a decent match. I wish it had been on later because I think I would have I enjoyed this a lot more than I enjoyed certainly the match that came after this, for sure.
Yeah. So I talked about this on the prediction show here. Maybe I did. I'm not sure. I'm not sure anymore. I know I've said this several times. So we had Rhea win the belt with not a whole lot of build at WrestleMania. And I feel like I still don't know who she is. I still don't know. I mean, she's just Rhea Ripley. There's nothing really there to work with.
I don't know. They kind of trying to make her out to be like Stone Cold Rhea Ripley. If you kind of watch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of her deal. But I don't know. I think this is a chance though, because if anybody can elevate her and take her to her best, it's going to be Charlotte Flair, because Charlotte Flair is the real deal.
We've seen this though. We've seen this happen before. We've seen this match, and it kind of ruined Rhea Ripley.
Well, because she wasn't ready. She was obviously not ready.
I don't know if she's ready now. I hate saying that, but I don't think a whole lot changed for her in a year.
Maybe. It's worth a shot. She definitely has the look. She definitely has athletic ability. She's super young. But it's worth it. You got to remember, I mean, she's pretty much the Becky Lynch placeholder. That's kind of what she's doing.
She is there to lose this belt to Charlotte, so Charlotte can lose this belt to Becky.
Right.
Yeah. Just keeping up with Monday Night Raw as we speak, and the big thing is Rhea Ripley is saying I'm ready for new competition, and Charlotte saying it's not fair. I need a one-on-one match. So now you have a power struggle with Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce, and so I think you're right. Charlotte is the title holder for when Becky makes her triumphant return in front of fans.
Unless
I have redirected from this. I think Charlotte will win. Hold until we are back in front of fans, which according
SummerSlam.
Although
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, but Becky will be back, I think, for SummerSlam.
I mean, it would make sense a full year to come back with Money in the Bank, but there's also a little talk about maybe returning to live shows in July for WWE or June.
Sure.
I might have gotten the J months wrong.
Something J,
July,
4 letters.
July 18th. July 18th for Money in the Bank. That's right.
So I could see it.
Because they moved Hell in a Cell to June for no reason.
I mean, the reason is to not have it with fans, so you can ruin the pay-per-view further.
You're not.
I'll say it. They haven't done Hell in a Cell good in a hot minute.
Also, Reginald on Raw almost just got lit on fire by Alexa Bliss and the talking doll with friggin' candy corn for teeth.
Her name's Lily.
Yeah. Lily.
Show some respect to things named Lily. That's all we got.
Mm-hmm.
I do, but this is a dumb gimmick and it's a waste of time.
I don't hate it. I just
which one? Which one? Reginald or Alexa Bliss? Which one?
Let me throw this out there just to kind of throw a wrench in everyone's plan here. What if this is all leading to Sonya Deville versus Rhea Ripley for the title?
Yeah. God, I hope so.
I would mark out. Sonya Deville is $1 million. I'm ready for her to be back.
I'm marking out thinking about it. Yeah, me too.
All right. D-White, I'm just gonna let you talk.
Wait,
it's the SmackDown Tag Title match.
Oh,
yeah. You're gonna let me talk about this fiasco, about the baby champ, right? So if you didn't watch SmackDown on Friday, one of the worst lines ever written by a WWE writer was uttered by Dominic Mysterio when he said, when Robert Roode, I think it was, said something about him being, he's nothing but a baby. He was like, yeah, this weekend I'm going to be the baby champ. And I thought, how did that pass through a meeting where somebody goes, oh yeah, that's a great line. That sounds tough. Someone should, that guy should get fired. They should put his shit in a plastic bag like they did Mickey James, clean out his locker, put it in a garbage bag. That was forced. Anyway. And then don't you know, the baby champ, hashtag baby champ, that's where we're going, because although Dominic was injured, he was worked around on Friday, and the doctors said, hey, you should get a different partner, Ray. He's a little banged up, and he's like, no, he can do it. We're gonna fight the odds, and we're gonna go and we're going to win the WWE, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Do you want me to talk about the match, or just do you want to get right to the end for the fact that basically it was Ray by himself through the whole match until they let Dominic give one of the most amateur-looking frog splashes? I mean, it was not. And we have the first father-son tag team champ. All right, go ahead, Ryan. I know you got things to say about this shit show.
They took it from you, God. You can't be the first father-son tag champs anymore.
That's fine. I don't want it. I don't want it after this dumpster fire. I tell you what, Rey Mysterio is going to be in the Hall of Fame. He is a legend. He is an icon. Okay. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. You think he should have retired after All In?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
which would have been fair.
Probably earlier, but
although he could still go.
He can still go, but there's just nothing left for him storyline wise.
Exactly. Yeah. So if he wanted to come back to the E for one more last run, Hall of Fame induction, we would have been fine. But no, I'm gonna resign so I can be the vessel for my son who has no charisma, no gimmick, little talent, and now he's piggybacking off of the name of his father. And
tag me in when you're done.
Hold on.
I know. When you're done, tag me in.
Eventually, he's going to be Dominic Mysterio in his dad's mask, and he's still going to underperform, and he's barely going to have a gimmick at all. Okay, so with the little ring work that he knows how, and they give him a frog splash, and it was the most delayed frog splash ever. Okay, it was, Ray hits his move, and then he stands there for a couple seconds, and he's like, huh? Like he's like pandering to the freaking crowd, isn't
there.
Freaking idiot. Okay, Ray is better than that. And then
Yeah, he is.
And it takes forever to tag Dominic in, and then he takes forever to get his slow ass up the friggin' rope, up the turnbuckles, and then he stares around, and then the most mediocre frog splash. Okay, Eddie Guerrero is rolling in his grave.
Because
Okay,
his son ruined it.
yeah. Okay, I get it. Oh, I want to work with my son, family, yay. Okay. Remember when Buddy Murphy was trying to plow your daughter and your sister, and now we're tag champs? Like, this is where the WWE tag team division has spiraled into. Okay.
Well,
This is
and I want to go back.
Wait. I got the next tagging.
Well, I'm gonna go with I'll save it for you, but I want to go back like chronologically in the match because you kind of skipped over one of the parts that made me want to punch my TV was when Dominic came in with the hot tag, and he's doing the hot tag and Rude hits the spine buster on him, and then he power bomb neck breakers on that deal, and he just destroyed him with those two moves, and he freaking kicks out, but he lays down like he's dead just in time to wake up. It's like he can't even, like, those are devastating moves, right? Those are devastating moves, and they looked like they killed him. And it was still, it's like he couldn't even sell it right. He couldn't even sell it well. And I was like, this poor guy, man. They're gonna make him happen one way or the other. But that moment when it was like, because Robert Roode is awesome. He's a good wrestler. He and Dolph are both great workers. Yeah. And so when they're going against someone like him, it makes him look all the worse. And when you have a moment like that where a guy that's obviously doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, there's 3 guys in that ring that are good. And there's one guy who is really, really not. And all it did was just that moment, I was just like, oh, God, are you kidding me? Like, so one of these 3 guys tell him, sell it more, stay down, whatever. Like, whisper in his ear, coach him through it. But anyway, sorry. Anyway, Matt.
Here is my thoughts on all this. A couple things. I think Ray re-signed so they didn't bury Dominic on television and ruin his career, because I think that was probably likely. Yes, you can't tell me that if Ray ended up going to a different company like AEW, they don't suddenly turn around and have Seth kill him.
Yeah.
Ship him to 205.
Good.
Well, think about it, buddy.
Wait. I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Stick with me.
I'm with you.
And here's the other thing. And ultimately, this is Vince's fault.
It is.
He says, stick with
me. He says, stick with me, and then he says, and another thing.
No. It's not even that. Look. I'm not going to sit here and act like Dominic is the greatest wrestler in the world, because I think all of us don't think that. That being said, there's a lot of potential there. And you know where that would have been much better used? In NXT. In what was that referred to as? Work in the performance center to get trained. He's only been trained for something like 3 years. All right. And look, some people might sit there and go, oh, he's been doing this for 3 years. He could be on WWE. No, dog. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. Adam Cole been doing this for way longer. And where is he at? Mm-hmm. NXT.
Right.
All right. If you send Dominic Mysterio to NXT to create a character for Dominic Mysterio and not let's continue to ride on the brakes of ruthless aggression,
right?
To make money and ratings, because we're gonna see, oh, Mysterio, okay, all right, I know, like that family, I can work with that. Nah, we needed him to be in a situation where he could work on the mic, where he could work in ring, he can get better, he can work with people who are designed and literally paid money to enhance the talent.
Yep.
Coaching from William Regal, coaching with Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Dominic
just put him with like
Mysterio.
Legado del Fantasma. Put him with those guys.
Yeah. Could you imagine? I know, Ryan, you might hate this, but legitimately, could you imagine the turncoat Mysterio?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm actually all for that.
Like, we don't know who he is because they've only designed him to be Rey Mysterio's son. He's not a person. His whole bit is he's Rey Mysterio's son. He doesn't have a character, which I get it. This is a lot of people right now in WWE. There's a lot of people will be hammered. We don't know who they are. I literally just said this about Rhea Ripley. But there's no meat. There's no potatoes. It's just bone. It's just there. Yeah. It's all it is. Give it some more to work with. If we have Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio has been training him for 20 years since birth to be the greatest lucha libre of all time, and we get a cocky dickhead Dominic Mysterio, I'm all in, man. I'm all in.
But now
you didn't do shit with him. So now you got to salvage what you set up.
It's almost like you can't send him to NXT now because
you can.
Mysterio.
You can in a draft.
And I'm going to throw you.
Include NXT.
I'm going to throw
drafts.
I'm going to throw this out.
They choose when to. They choose when they want.
Hey, I'm going to throw this out here because we talked about it last week with a rumor that maybe the WWE and MLW were going to start working together. He'd be a perfect guy to send down to that Azteca Underground, Like, that would be a perfect place for him to hone his skills.
Yeah.
Because he's not ready for SmackDown. He's barely ready for NXT. And you take Rey Mysterio, perfect for that. I think that adds something to it. I don't know. That seems like a better situation than what they got going on now, which is nothing because you're right. They would need to bury him without his dad. He's got nothing going on outside of that. Poor guy. Give him a mask.
I would almost tell you.
Give him something else to do.
Let them bury him. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna book this entire thing. Cut Rey Mysterio. Get rid of him. Take him out for a year. All right. Have Dirty Dogs murder him. Not actually, but
murder.
Put him out for a long time.
Will he come back as a zombie? That's all I want to know.
Well, no, because no one comes back as a zombie. But you hit it spot on. Dominic needs to lose and lose and lose until finally we bring up Legado del Fantasma and simply go, hey, you never had a mask, but it's time you earned it.
I can work with you.
Yep.
It's time you went and became a man instead of baby champ.
Right.
You got to find a way to salvage this. You have to.
I can't. I'm going to say I can't believe we talked. I can't believe we talked about this that long. But anyway, can we please go on to not talking about this next match?
Oh no! We gotta talk. We gotta talk
because I think this is a great point to open up with this. If you guys don't know, Army of the Dead. It is a Zack Snyder directed film. It stars Dave Bautista, also known as Batista in WWE. Comes out May 14th in the theaters, May 21st to Netflix. How does this tie into Backlash, you might ask? Well, John Morrison and his sneaky heelish ways looks like he's going to go talk to the Lumberjacks to maybe coerce them into giving, the Miz the upper hand. He opens the door to fog, red light, and I don't know, about a dozen or two zombies. That's right, zombies. So of course he just books it out of there. He's trying to tell the Miz, and then this leads to the Lumberjack match with Damian Priest and the Miz. Damian Priest is in the ring. The Miz is going to get in the ring, and that's when John Morrison does his best Shaggy impression from freaking Scooby-Doo when he goes ghost. He looks and is like, look at all the zombies. So yes, it is a zombie lumberjack match at a at a pay-per-view with a company who made a lot of millions of dollars. And I understand this is the entertainment side of things. And I can only tell you that in a room where a handful of us watched it, half of the people fell asleep. That is no joke. It is no joke whatsoever. Okay. Half of the people fell asleep. What does that tell you about your product?
It tells you a lot of things. Like, and look, God, I hate the fact that I have to do this, but everyone else is saying it on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do it. Let's get this done with. How is this different than Abaddon? How is this different than The Undertaker? Can someone answer me that? How is this different than The Undertaker, who's been raised from the dead several times? No. I'm legitimately, how is this different? And I want you to go as hard as possible, because to even consider the fact that you had out of nowhere, with no reasoning, no booking, no character in the match that makes sense for there to be zombie lumberjacks.
Okay.
It doesn't work. If you have The Undertaker, who's made his entire career off of occasionally doing spooky shit,
Mm-hmm.
all right, as some zombie warlock, all right,
Right.
there's a difference between the two. There's a difference between Abaddon, whose character is portraying a zombie, and they've made it pretty clear on commentary that she's not actually a zombie. She's just doing this to get in your head. They've put it out there. They've done it already. They said she's not a zombie. All right.
Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready for me to tell you why it's different than The Undertaker?
And that's exactly what I want you to do.
Well, let me tell you why it's different. Okay, because while certainly there, and even if we go into like the like the Impact's Undead Realm, and we've seen some supernatural things, right? This wasn't that. This was a blatant tie-in with the sponsor. Okay, and let me ask you a question. You ever seen a zombie movie?
Several.
Okay, what happens when all the zombies pull somebody down and then they all pile on top of them? What happens to that person?
They're dead, gone forever, till they come back as a zombie and they have to get shot.
No, they don't come back as a zombie because they get eaten by the zombies, and they left. There's a pile that's left. Okay, if you watch The Walking Dead, I'm a huge fan. But anyway, so my question is John Morrison still alive? And is the Miz still alive? So because they were both eaten by zombies at the end. They were both eaten by zombies.
So let's not forget, at last year's Money in the Bank, we threw 2 people off of a roof and they are alive.
That's true. 2 people.
So it would not surprise me, with an hour and a half left in Raw, that we see the Miz and John Morrison come out and just do a Miz TV with Damian Priest. Oh, and the cherry on top of this crap Sunday. Okay, Damian Priest, how he does his little firing the arrow at the big board, shoots it up towards the screen right above the ring, and it just says Army of the Dead. Like, you can't tell me that this is as close to blood money without being in friggin' Saudi Arabia.
It's true. It was obvious. It wasn't to the level of putting the WCW. I mean, I guess was that the NWA? That was the World Heavyweight title onto the star of a movie. It wasn't to that level, but it was so blatant, and it didn't need to happen, man. Damian Priest deserves better than this. He's a rising star. This was a joke. I didn't feel it at all, and I'm a worse person for having watched it. I really am.
So here's where I want to close on.
But Damian Priest won, which is what should have happened, and let's pretend the match itself didn't.
So let's emphasize this right now. Damian Priest and The Miz have wrestled 5 times. since the build to Mania. Let's let it die. Okay, it's time to move on.
Well, I
Additionally,
think the Miz may actually have died.
well, when he shows up on Raw in the next 20 minutes, we can all laugh about it. I will say this. Someone asked Dave Bautista why he sent zombies to the WWE. And his response, I'm going to literally read this word for word from his tweet. WTF, you telling me? Question mark, exclamation point, exclamation point. You think I booked a bunch of fucking zombies? I'm on a damn plane. Shouldn't you be tweeting Vince?
God, I'm a bigger Batista fan than I was before.
Adam Pearce had a pretty funny retort this morning. He had a couple of good jokes. He said, somebody asked, why did you book zombies for the wrestling show? He said, it was a no-brainer.
God.
He goes on to say, guys, I've never seen anything like it. Those zombies were dying to get into the Thunderdome.
Oh, God.
Like, they think this was a good idea.
I think it's set wrestling back 30 years. That's what
listen,
31.
They're all backstage, and this went off, and it did what it did, and they're all back there like, yeah, that was awesome, yeah, good job, yeah, that was awesome, good job, everyone. So, no, this is a freaking circle jerk backstage.
This also ties in. I'm sorry, Sean Ross Sapp literally also just tweeted this a minute ago. And it goes into the whole Miz versus Damian Priest 5 matches. It doesn't do much for the giving different guys a chance talking point if they're just having them do the same exact thing and face the same people every single time. It's time to move on. Give us different matches. Give us different things. Bianca Belaire versus Bayley. Bianca Belaire gets the win after poorly wrapping her hair around Bayley. Bayley looked like she popped, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She popped. But, yeah, this is rough.
Yeah, this was worse than the others match. I still don't care about Bianca Belaire, even though we knew she was going to win. And my deep-rooted hatred for Bianca Belaire, it's not that she's not a pure athlete. She is okay. I forget who said it last night, but what she can do in the ring, if Jade Cargill could do what she did in the ring, Jade Cargill would be AEW women's champion, right? Mm-hmm. Because one thing Bianca Belaire doesn't have, okay, she has her EST gimmick that she does nothing with anymore, except for come out and cut BS promos that have nothing to do with the gimmick.
Sir, you mean the BEST promos?
There's another B word I'll throw in there, but I want to stay on the air, okay? Listen, she comes out, she twirls her hair, okay? If this is your gimmick, it's bad, okay? But it's not, because you did vignettes and promos that were Mr. Perfect-esque, and I've said this a lot, okay? Stick with that. You can do it as a face or a heel. You can do it as a tweener. Some people might not agree, and that's totally fine. But if you're going to have a gimmick saying you're the best or the best or the fastest or the
strongest, the fastest, yeah.
I'm
with you.
You need to build a character on that through promos, vignettes, not have Bayley come out. And
you need to book her like she is.
Yes. Not come out and have Bayley say, oh, look at this former women's champion, this women's champion. And here's Bianca, who's so naive, and this and that. And then Bianca comes out and is like, what are you doing? Like, oh my God, like, what are you, like, look at my hair. Look at me slap my ass. What are you doing? Like, it's dumb, okay? I don't know what else to say about this. I think that we truly overhype Bianca Belaire because she is strong, and
I don't think she's overhyped.
I
don't think she's booked like she's Bianca Belaire.
It's the way she's booked. I didn't think she was booked well in NXT either, and that's just personal opinion. I don't think I thought the best she was booked was just what I was saying. when they were letting her do promos, showing her being the fastest, being the strongest, being the best. Okay. And then, now she's out just, being freaking skaboogie every week,
Well, she's basically being Sasha Banks. I mean, that's essentially what she did. She's like co-opted that gimmick, and she's Sasha Banks.
Well,
and
wait. Because I want to emphasize this. It's not Bianca's fault that they're telling her to be Sasha Banks.
Correct.
No.
I don't want us blaming her. I don't want that to be the conception.
The
perception.
Believe me, I think we all know who's to blame because she's obviously not writing those
don't
promos.
Respect the Booker, man.
Right. They're feeding her that stuff. And here's the thing: I watched the match. Bayley looked good. Bayley was on top of her game in the match.
Yeah.
She looked really good. And let me tell you, where they missed the ball, and I guess Bianca had to go over or whatever. That they had a perfect. I don't know how Ryan you were watching it. They had a perfect ending to this match where she grabbed the braid and whipped her around to the Bayley to belly, and she had her, and then she kicked out. I was like, no, that was a perfect ending to this match. Like you could flip flop the belt, doesn't matter. That was a great ending to the match, and then of course and then she gets a roll up to win the freaking to win. And then, of course, Bayley is going off, but it was like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, I'm not digging the whole Bianca's character that they've got for her because it just seems like a rehash of Sasha. But Bayley's looking really good, and wouldn't it be cool if she won? And then it was just, the finish was a joke. It was like, oh my, they had in other words, they booked a good finish, and she kicked out of that, and they went to a stupid finish. So that's how I felt about that.
Once again, everything I've said about Rhea Ripley, you can kind of plug in here for Bianca. I hate saying it. It's the same thing, same company, same issues, different person.
Well, do you think? And here's a question I was just thinking about. Just popped in my head. Like, she just doesn't work as a baby face. Like, she was way better as kind of as a heelish.
I think she can work as a baby face. I think doing the whole EST gimmick makes it harder. Yeah. But talk about how she's someone who constantly overcomes a challenge in front of her, who when faced with, potentially career-ending injuries in college for her sports, she continued to overcome. She got over the hurdle.
Okay.
Like you can easily push that. She overcomes adversity. You can make that a bit for her. All right.
Yeah, but that doesn't make you interesting. It doesn't make you entertaining.
I'm not against that and what you're saying. But what I'm saying is we're not doing anything original with her. The hair is the most original thing with her. And that's why you're going to keep seeing it over and over again. But honestly, she's better without it.
Right. It's the worst thing about her. It's the worst thing about her. I wish she didn't have it.
I hate the fact that if people go on and ask, like, which one's Bianca Belaire? She's the one with the hair.
Yeah.
Right.
And look, once again, it's not even that I hate how it's done. I hate how it's done. The hair bit is fine if she's a heel and you do it then. As a face, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look well.
Well, it's also like, how bad could that hurt? Honestly.
I'll say the friggin' mark she left on Sasha looked terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. It was like a welt.
Yeah, but she had like some kind of thing holding it together. That's what made the welt. But like last night, but that's why I thought the ending would have been so much better if she ripcords her around with the freaking braid and does the belly to belly. That was an awesome finish. But anyway.
Overthinking. Just overthinking. Once again, just
save that for when
you can make her work. Yeah, yes. You can make her work. And she's honestly, once again, an incredible talent to have.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
Cater to her strengths. I know, Ryan, you hate it. Like, Jade Cargill hasn't had a match in weeks. Maybe a month and a half.
I have come around to that, but why have I been coming around? Because you booked appropriately.
Exactly. So if talking is Bianca's hard part,
So
and
let's
she's
have her
your
talk.
champion. She don't need to talk.
Yeah. Have her come
Have
on.
her
Now,
have, have Bailey spout off at the mouth, and Bianca just put up or shut up. What are you talking?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Stop overthinking it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Work to her strengths.
Now, before we move on, I want to double back. A lumberjack match is set for tonight between Damian Priest and John Morrison.
Oh God, John Morrison died. I watched him get devoured by a horde of zombies. I don't even want to know that. Oh, he did it. He was
Bobby
devoured.
Lashley defends the WWE Championship against Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre, which we see him retain the WWE Championship. Bobby Lashley pins Braun Strowman after Braun eats a Claymore. Lashley disposes of the body and pins Braun for the 3.
Yeah, I think it was fun. It was funny just now when you were saying that. You said that Bobby Lashley against Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman. I was thinking you were saying they were going to do it again on Raw because that's totally something they would do.
Yeah.
Right now we do have Asuka versus Charlotte.
Okay. Well, but on this match, I would like my reactions, and I watched that whole match as it went on, and I liked it. I loved the finish. I thought it was a good finish. The way he screwed over Drew and Bobby Lashley gets the win. But it did kind of make Braun look like a tool, like really like he had no business being in that match. I mean, Braun is a big dude and he's a strong dude. He had a couple of spots, like the one where he did the Rob Van Dam flip, off their apron, which was, which of course you would need 2 guys like Drew and Bobby Lashley to catch him, but still, I like the finish, but God, Braun Strowman just does not belong in the world title picture. He just doesn't. He's a sidekick, man. He is a sidekick, or just the heavy in a group or something like that. But he is not a singles champ, put the belt on him kind of guy. He's just not.
What was that? They misbooked him.
Well,
guys, if you haven't caught on, there's a theme tonight when we're talking about this show.
Yeah.
It's not the talent's fault.
No. It's the garbage they give them to do. And it's funny, that's if you watch, I'm gonna go ahead and put this over. I watched and one of the things the WWE does well is all the documentaries. And the one that debuted last night, which oh God. All right. The one that debuted last night was Rob Van Dam, and that was one of the things that Rob Van Dam even said. And if you're familiar with his career, was that Rob Van Dam was Rob Van Dam. Like the character that he plays is not a character. That's him. And the thing was, and he said it, I didn't want to do the stuff they wanted me to do. I'm Rob Van Dam. I want to be Rob Van Dam. And he basically left. I mean, he basically left it because of that. He's like, the stuff that they wanted me to do, I didn't want to do. And it's like, yeah, look at John Moxley. Look at Andrade now. I mean, you have too many cases of the same thing. It's like, yeah, I like being in the WWE, but these guys, they suck. Like the people writing this stuff are idiots. And if you have a mind for professional wrestling, it's the last place you'd want to be.
I don't want to put all the blame on the writers because the writers are having their script torn up 2 hours before the show.
Yeah, well, we know. I mean, we know who's ultimately to blame. I don't think any of us are going to lay it at. Although there's a certain giant front tooth guy that really, he deserves to be
fucking up production, done.
Yeah, he needs to be put. The Mr. Hart, where they cut the camera every 3 seconds and the jumping up and down camera, all that Brian Dunn nonsense, that jerk. But anyway. We know whose fault, but they just have too much talent to be this bad, or to do such stupid things with them. Braun Strowman included. Now, when he was in the Wyatt family, seriously, it was awesome.
when he was flipping ambulances. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We just decided to wait 3 more years to put a belt on him.
And by then it was too late.
Yeah, and by then he just growls a lot, you know.
We're gonna run out of time here. We're gonna run out of time, so we gotta move on. Roman Reigns versus Cesaro, for many, was deemed the match of the night. A lot of people thought it was the best in-ring work and it was the best storytelling. I'm not surprised by this. Honestly, it seemed to me like this was the match that Roman Reigns was finally booked to perform to match his promos to me. Like, it was clean. It was clean. He just beat Cesaro. And that's what it should be all along.
Cesaro looked good. I mean, the match was good. Cesaro, I mean, that's the sad part about that match. I enjoyed him. He's a good match. He made Roman Reigns look good. Cesaro made him look good because Cesaro is good. And they had a great match, and even the junk, you know, where Seth Rollins came at the end, but you know, he looked good, but it was like, but then the end, like Cesaro, you're going, okay, they had a good match. He beat him clean, so you beat him, but Cesaro could have his head held high. Oh no, he can't. But we're gonna have, we're gonna have Jey Uso come down and just pummel the snot out of him, and then we have Seth Rollins come and pummel the snot out of him. Do all this stuff. He's gonna bury Cesaro. And did Jimmy Uso show up at the end at all? No. We built up all this junk in the back and on SmackDown, and it didn't even come out at the end.
Nope.
That's
a SmackDown storyline,
right?
Not a Backlash storyline.
Well, let me just say, it was a good match, and then it went in the ditch when the match was over. It was garbage when the match was over.
Agreed. Yeah, it went a little too long for my taste, but as far as Roman Reigns goes, we're now into Deonna Purrazzo territory, where how many more faces are there on SmackDown?
There's his other cousin who he needs to beat down into realizing that he's the head of the table.
I swear to Christ,
dog.
Somebody with the last.
What's the next pay-per-view?
I understand that it's Hell in a Cell. Okay.
When was the last time we saw Jimmy Uso prior to his return getting choked out at Hell in a Cell? Roman Reigns versus Jimmy Uso. Hell in a Cell for the belt.
On what merit?
Jey Uso, special guest referee in the cell.
And I know you're being overly dramatic about it.
Am I?
You're probably right.
Am I? I don't think I'm being overly dramatic.
No, you definitely have a flair of pizzazz to you. But no, you're probably right. And that's what's sad, is that we have so much talent not being used. Oh, yeah, wait. Didn't Dwight just say a little while ago that we have nothing for Keith Lee? But yet we have a tag team specialist in a main event feud that's probably going to be in the Hell in a Cell. And they're both competent workers. They're both strong. They are probably
it'll be a fine match. It'll be fine.
WWE has. It's going to be fine. And that's the problem. We're okay with mediocrity.
No. Wait. When I say it's going to be fine, I mean like Roman Reigns and either Uso in a one-on-one match it will be a decent enough match. It'll be a good match.
No, and
it's not going to be bad, but it's going to be repetitive storytelling, which is going to be frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I hate saying it, but we already have all the answers to the question. Well, I know I said it in the last review of predictable isn't always wrong here, but if it's the same exact thing we did a year ago, I'm fucking choking up here talking about it. Like, I think we're inevitably moving towards Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. And it will be heel versus heel, which is good. Seth Rollins as a worker might be the best worker in WWE whose name doesn't start with AJ.
Or Adam.
Just A. Let's leave it as A.
There you go.
But honestly, Seth Rollins, the worker, letting him actually go and do what he does best. Let him tell his story and perform in ring. He's a top 10 dude. He is. He is. We're going to sit here and we're going to be frustrated about how he's booked, and we're going to sit here and talk about the stupid crap he's put in with. But him as a worker, incredible. He's fantastic. He always seems to bring the best out of Roman in ring, and then having a heel versus heel match is new. It's refreshing from that point of view. And honestly, I think Seth Rollins might have the best chance of taking the belt off him.
Oh gosh, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening at all. I see them getting together before they would be against each other, especially the way it ended last night. It just seemed I was like, with Seth Rollins beating down Cesaro, so what's more likely, I think, is that's how they turn Roman back face, which I don't want to see, because
I don't think we're gonna pull that trigger yet. I almost feel like we're gonna have the the pesky, annoying Seth Rollins trying to be the devil in your ear, like that's gonna kind of be what we get. I don't think we're gonna turn Roman. I just think Rollins is gonna try and manipulate Roman, and Roman's gonna be like, you can't do this to me. I'm the head of the table.
Okay.
People do what I tell them to do. Because of me, you're going to have your best payday. So Seth Rollins, come get paid when I whoop your ass. And we'll have Rollins kind of going heel, and you'll have Roman fight clean in this one. That's not going to make him a face, though.
We're just all guessing, because they're going to come up with some garbage that none of us could think of.
I already booked it. It's Jimmy.
Yeah,
him and Jimmy at Hell in a Cell, and Rollins and him at SummerSlam.
Right. And we're going to do the same thing. We already saw this with Jey Uso. We already saw it, so we're going to see it again.
Yeah.
And it's really
Dwight.
Okay.
We thought we saw two guys get killed last night. Let's take a look at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns killed Edge because nobody's heard or seen from him since. Yeah. And I know his contract, whatever. And then now that Daniel Bryan is off of SmackDown, he retired him. Maybe
the reference to Daniel Bryan last night makes me think he's resigned.
I did like that spot though, and
I didn't hate it. I think it's
great. They re-signed. Great. They re-signed Daniel Bryan, and we get something else we've already seen.
Yeah.
No. It can't be on SmackDown, so we can't see it.
Oh, that's right. We can't see that.
So when we will see it, champion versus champion at Survivor Series.
I hate you.
Well, we got. We can get. Like we said, there's people out there. There are people that you could put there. It's just it's. I don't know. I don't even know what to think of, because who are they going to feed to Roman Reigns next?
Everyone and anyone until he loses the belt to The Rock, and then he beats The Rock immediately the next night on Raw.
God. This is why I don't watch WWE. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is why it is last on my priority list. I spent this afternoon and I watched Ring of Honor TV, and then I watched a little some of the stuff off IWTV. I looked at a little bit of an Impact, so I could be ready for tonight. Go back, but it's like I watched Backlash last night.
You did your homework.
Well, yeah, I did my damn homework, baby. But like, I watched it last night, and I'm going, I don't want to think about that ever again, except for to say the zombie thing was stupid, and then go on from it, because this is like WCW 2000 level stupidity. It really is.
Don't say that too loud. You're gonna get a lot of people coming at you on Twitter saying you're just a hater. You just hate the E.
Right. Well, just tell me what's the difference between the Mysterio family and Judy freaking Bagley.
Oh, you're better than me. I was gonna say Horace Hogan.
Oh, well, I went with Judy Bagwell on a poll.
Sorry, that's eye for an eye.
Yeah.
yeah.
Does that make
I'm
Bad Bunny
still-
David Arquette?
I'm still holding out hope that it's
Uh.
going to be Edge to take the title off of Roman.
I
I'm still holding out hope
really,
because
really.
we never got the one-on-one match, and that's the only ground that we legitimately have for them to finally get it. Is that even though he won the Rumble, it wasn't a true one-on-one, and he wants his shot at SummerSlam. I could see that potentially.
Do you guys want
However-
to know who's gonna actually take the belt off of Roman?
I think you know what? My other theory is going to be Money in the Bank. Somebody's going to have to do it that way.
It's not gonna be like a surprise cash in on though. Someone's gonna cash in and say, "Hey, you and me, SummerSlam." Probably not SummerSlam, but maybe like Survivor Series. I could really
Barack Lesnar.
I would
no,
be-
actually no, because we gotta have someone actually gain something from beating Roman at this point, right? We need to actually elevate a talent, and we're not really good at doing that. So we gotta go to someone who we know has proven success as a champion.
Oh my god.
So we need to go to someone who hasn't been a world champion before, but has at least held a lot of belts.
Keith Lee.
No. Big E Langston.
He can't beat Apollo Crews.
Well, he can't beat Apollo Crews when Commander Disease is there.
Also Commander Disease.
Commander Davocado, you mean?
So no, but legitimately, we put Big E on an entire brand separate from the other New Day to promote him as a single superstar. We're gonna finally capitalize on it because everyone says he should have already been a world champion by now. He's beaten Roman Reigns before. He can do it. That's gonna be how we elevate them. It's gonna be Kofi Mania, except it's gonna be Big E.
Yeah, let me tell you, let me give you a little history lesson because I did my homework as the dean of old school, the front man here. 1980s WWF, Hulk Hogan was the unbeatable champion. And there was the parade of heels that was fed to him for years. You had Don Morocco, you had King Kong Bundy, you had Big John Studd, you had Kamala, you had even on like the person that came closest to really matching him was $1 Million Man, and of course he got Andre the Giant. But there was just this parade of Paul Orndorff. There were the parade of people they fed to him. So Big E is going to get fed to Roman, like everyone got fed to John Cena, like people got fed to Hulk Hogan, because that's what Vince McMahon does. That's what he does when there's a guy. You feed people to the guy. The only exception was when we had Stone Cold and The Rock, and you had more than one guy, right? That was it. But he likes to feed people to the guy. And Roman is the guy, and Big E is not beating him.
Don't forget the alliance to end Hulkamania was a real thing.
That was WCW. That's different.
I know, but it goes along with the same thing, like a group of heels just being lined up to get fed. And I agree. If you're gonna put Big E in a match, then he has to win or character dead.
Right. Well, the big story from that, if you remember, if you've read it, was when the next one they were going to feed them was Jake the Snake, right? Jake the Snake was going to be the next heel fed to Hulk Hogan, and then they, they're trying out on house shows, and his crowd starts chanting DDT, DDT, so they turn Jake face. It's like we can't have that. So we got the mega powers. You got them against, it's like it's crazy. It's like that's what they do. It's like you're either gonna be a heel that's fed to them, or they're just gonna align you with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what you're seeing. Like, so the opposite with Roman, it's like we're gonna feed you to Roman, or you're gonna be part of his tribal whatever table that he's the head of. And I think that's what it's more things change and more they stay the same. So anyway, I'm once again disappointed. But let me just say this: I don't know if you guys watch ROH TV. Did you watch Ring of Honor TV this week? Did you see that a former Ring of Honor superstar made a reappearance, like super rare reappearance in the Battle Royal. Did you see that?
Who
El
was
Generico. It was El Generico. El Generico showed up back in Ring of Honor this week. It was awesome. You should go
He
check
does
it out.
whatever he wants, man. It's been a long time since we've seen
It's
some
very
El
evil.
Generico.
Did you see that, Matt? The Battle Royal.
Yeah.
It
Do
was
what I
El.
can.
Did you see it?
I do what I can, yeah.
Well, El Generico Housing. That's
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It was
Look,
good. It
look,
was good. Man. I liked it.
I got yelled at for promoting Danhausen so much, so
Oh,
I let other people do it for me because he's just very nice and very evil. So
well, I popped for that spot. I thought that was awesome. I was like, holy! He gets eliminated. He puts the El Generico mask on.
Listen, we're done
I loved
talking
it.
about this crappy show. Time
Yep.
to talk about something that we should all be invested in. Okay, Ring of Honor bringing
Huge.
fans back for Best in the World July
Woohoo!
11th. Okay, nobody else wanted to talk about WrestleMania Backlash anyway. It was awful. It should never be brought to life again. Okay,
Right.
Ring of Honor, July 11th, Best in the World. Guys, fans are back. Okay,
UMBC baby. Hey, we said they were coming back to our area.
Yep.
We told them they were coming to us.
they're all coming in.
Hey,
And we owe some.
BCB, Brian,
We owe some people
bouncers
beer.
baby.
We owe
First
people-
round's on us, man.
we're like-
First round's on us.
we
Ian
like to let-
Bonnie, I'm vaccinated. I'll initiate the hug. I got you, dog. I missed you.
Sick freak. Hey,
That's a reference to his Twitter.
yeah, we know. I'm going to throw this out there, man. We owe those guys beer, and so we're going to pay our debts for like the Lannisters on Game of Thrones. We always pay our debts.
I don't fuck my siblings.
I say we're good. That's only one way to pay our debts. I'd say we were like them in all the other ways. Weirdo. But anyway, let me say I'm looking forward to when I saw that. I really got excited when we first started talking about that. And I'm like, let's do this. Let's go back. I'm looking so forward. Brian Malonis has a new T-shirt. That's awesome. That's the beer for the that just says 5 o'clock on the front, and it says get your own damn beer on the back. And yeah, so I think that's going to be my choice for going to that one, just so we can support our good friends. And I'm looking forward to it, man. Really am. Because it's Ring of Honor, first of all. It's good wrestling.
It's Ring of Honor. I love Ring of Honor. I love the bouncers. It's time.
Yeah, it is time. It is time.
Listen, as far as being not as mainstream as other promotions have been through the pandemic, I will forever, even if I wasn't a Ring of Honor fan going in, I would forever be a fan of theirs. And they took care of all of their employees. They made no cuts. They kept producing content. They did trivia nights. They were inclusive with the fans. And then once they were able to get safely back into the ring, okay, they still paid all of their employees. They still made sure everybody was safe. They only had 1 or 2 people test positive while they were doing the bubble. They've done it the right way. They've done it the proper way, and they've done it for the fans, and they've done it for the talent. And on that merit alone, I'm a fan. But since they've come back, okay, the Ring of Honor Pure Tournament doesn't get enough love.
Right.
It was so fun to watch, and the fact that now we're building up to having fans back again for that. Shut up and take my money.
Shut up and take my money. Shut up and take my money. We're there.
Yeah, man. You'll find us in section 106 if we can get tickets there. That's our tradition. Tradition.
And hold the tag rope. Hold the tag rope.
PK. Tag ropes, baby. Speaking of tradition, COD, I give to you the opportunity to present the plug completely and totally uninterrupted.
I
The
appreciate that.
floor is yours, Con.
Thank you. Guys, check out the YouTube page where you're watching this. Okay, we got some great stuff on there. We've got Alvarez versus Meltzer. We've got Quick Count. We've got Referee's Discretion, Creative Control, Top 10 videos. Guys, we're putting on a lot of great stuff right now. Please check it out. We're live on Facebook every Monday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless it's one of these crazy one-offs like this where you get to enjoy more of us. It's great. I know. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, check out all of our social media, and you're traveling along, you like what you're seeing, you ask yourself, how can I support these beautiful men? Well, there's an easy response. You go to kofi.com/PWO123. It's as easy as 123. And just for the price of a cup of coffee a day, you can support this totally unplanned beard stroking of spring 2021.
That's right. Hey, we're in sync like the Midnight Express, baby.
It's terrifying, man. Look,
Loverboard,
the wavelength.
Loverboard Matt and beautiful D White. That's it.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, no, you and I are the Monday Night Express. I forgot.
That's right.
Is that, wait. Am I Jim Cornette? Does that make me Jim Cornette?
We're definitely the Monday Night Express. That's for sure.
Yeah, that makes you Jim Cornette.
You're Big Bubba. You be Big Bubba.
Guys,
don't forget all the cucking.
Oh yeah.
First I get referred to as the Lannisters. Now this. I don't know if I should be happy, upset, proud. All I know is this show has been tougher than a $2 steak to sit through. Just like WrestleMania Backlash 2021. Yep. I need a drink and apparently a tennis racket to hit someone with. Yep. Guys, call it a show. I appreciate y'all. We'll see you back here soon, live on Thursday for the WrestleCast, and of course, every other show on the YouTube. So enjoy yourselves. Have a good night. Goodbye. Mwah! Good night. Bang.
For life.